Hello and welcome to the Anime Abroad podcast. I'm your host. My name is Kyle and I'm joined by Jared and Aki.
Welcome.
Say hello.
Hello.
Today we have episode 70, which is Winter Season 2018 final review. We're gonna... Well, it was gonna be like that, but Jared hasn't finished any anime that last season. Aki hasn't watched much of any anime that crosses with mine, and then
Really?
I watched... Yeah. Well, see, I'm looking at the list, and we've only have 4 anime that Aki and I share.
I thought Aki would have watched most things.
Well, I have 11 that I want to talk about, and he's got 13.
Oh, okay.
But only 4 of those cross with each other.
There are some of them that I have watched, but really have no real interest in talking about.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
that's fair.
anything special for me.
No comments.
But
Yeah,
anyways,
I've decided that
This
I
episode-
don't like good anime, so I've just skipped this season. Because it was just too much.
Jared hasn't finished a single anime that last season.
Yes.
He is going the way of all Anime Abroad members.
No, they all go
I'm-
out. I'm on a seesaw.
I jest. But anyways, before we start the episode, no, we won't do question of the week. None of that nonsense.
Well, did you have
Let's
one?
just get right into it. No, I didn't have a question.
Okay, I'm not sure what the plan was then.
I was just gonna for a good minute or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked winter season was good this year.
It was really good.
It was a lot
Probably.
But for me, it was
God.
a strange season. I feel like there has been like not a single ecchi show, and barely any, emoto shows. So I'm surprised.
Oh yeah.
What a
I'm
generalization.
I'm
I gotta
happily
talk about-
surprised.
I gotta talk about that one anime that no one watched but me this season.
What then?
Darling in the Franxx?
No.
Oh, yeah. No one watched that.
25 Sai no Joshikousei. It's a short that aired last season that no one else watched.
Oh, I do remember reading about that before it started, but I never looked at it.
There's your ecchi anime. It's practically hentai.
Jesus.
Well, I was going to say, why didn't you say anything? But
Well, I only watched all
might as
12
well.
episodes, or I should say all 10 episodes.
You only
Yeah, I only watched the anime like a week ago.
over it.
And
no,
it's just like 8-minute shorts or something like that. It's practically hentai.
Were they well spent 8 minutes?
I've seen better hentai.
Oh yeah, I would have thought so.
Yeah. Anyways, let's just get right into the meat and potatoes.
Damn right.
Up first, let's talk about Citrus. Citrus was an anime about 2 girls that are, air quote, lesbians that live together. Initial impressions, I thought this anime was a lighter version of Kuzu no Honkai. Plot for the sake of lesbo sex.
I did not.
It turned out a bit better in the story department, but still kind of steers its plots towards the meat and potatoes again.
What does that mean? I know what meat and potatoes means, but steering towards the meat and potatoes.
Well, the meat and potatoes being the encounters between MC and her
Oh, okay.
Emoto. The anime finished off well. It was a lot more sincere, I should say, in its approach to sexuality than... Well, I don't want to just compare it to Kuzu no Honkai.
I mean,
That wouldn't be fair.
I think Kuzu no Honkai did that very well.
I think it would be pretty fair to compare it to Kusu no Honkai, because
I think
over the course of Citrus, it started to become Kusu no Honkai.
Or instead of comparing it, you could just talk about Citrus.
Well, it's easier to compare it to something that's similar. In that, like, the plot mainly focuses around two lesbian characters having sexual encounters. And the main character's acceptance of her sexuality and her love for her sister.
Okay.
Overall, it was okay. I enjoyed the sexual encounters. They were well drawn out.
Drawn out.
No pun intended. I don't know. It was okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first half of it, and the second half I absolutely hated.
There was one very specific reason for that, wasn't there?
I dropped it at episode 9 because, well, pink-haired girl really got on my nerves, and I just hated that she was even a character in this show.
Oh yeah, Aki hates drama.
Well, there's good drama, and then there's, what if we put in a middle schooler and have her talk about how she exploits people online for like,
she's like a
sexual
year under these
imagery.
Girls.
Jesus.
Like, that's disgusting. And then in episode 9, when I dropped it...
If it's any consolation, like, she doesn't last for the whole ending arc.
Well, that's good, because in episode 9, when I dropped it, I had enough when she was like, hey, May, you should stay away from Yuzu, so here's a phone. Go play with my online friends for a bit, eh?
That makes zero sense.
Fucking no. Fucking disgusting. Fuck this show.
I mean,
I wanted to watch this show to watch like two girls in a like complicated situation, figuring out their love and their emotions.
I mean, I can see how that would be used to do that. But, I mean, it's all about how...
The childhood friend pink-haired character is mostly just a literal wrench in the story thrown in to create drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, things like that kind of creates a situation where characters have to be more concrete and actually just decide things or be forced to realize things.
Like,
I mean,
I understand that. In a lot of ways, this new character causes the main characters to become more concrete, but she herself is not a very well-written character.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
It could have been done so much better. If you wanted that end result, you could have just said something like, May's grandfather stepped in and he wanted her to, like, stop living with Yuzu.
Stop living.
Yeah, like, come live with us. You need to be more strict again. Like, she's getting too lax or something. And then they're separated, and then they want each other again, and they feel like there's a wall between them again, maybe. I don't know. It could have been done in a different way that wasn't with this piece of shit character that just...
I mean, yeah, it's all about
triggered the hell out of me.
Worth it. If you introduce something negative, you want it to be satisfying and worthwhile.
Yeah, and I want it to be something that maybe people can relate to. Like, life gets in the way of love sometimes. And with life, I don't mean your old childhood friend that wants to hook up your girlfriend with sexual deviants online. Maybe, I don't know. I have no experience in that, at least.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Citrus.
Yeah, same.
It's okay.
Yeah, same.
I don't have much to say about Darling in the Franxx because
I mean, yeah, I think we can skip this one, to be fair. Yeah, I'm sure you're gonna talk about it again anyway.
I'll just mention that I'm enjoying the shift from pure action-based to more of a character drama. So far, so good.
Cool.
And drum roll, I'm starting to enjoy it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What episode are you on?
I'm up to date. So 14.
I want to know what yo, you like Ichigo, don't you?
Fuck no.
What? Why not?
What? I'm so surprised.
Last episode,
man.
I said that everyone is like cardboard except for a handful of characters, like Ichigo, and Ichigo is just a whiny bitch.
I'm surprised. Like, I would have thought you would have just dropped it at episode 14.
Why?
'Cause like the main consensus right now is that everyone hates Ichigo.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. And
But to me, the last episode was really good in that it didn't just give us it didn't make it too easy. 'Cause like the reunion would have been way too fast, but this will make the reunion that much better down the road.
probably.
Anyways, up next we have Fate Extra Last Encore. None of us actually finished it.
Okay.
I am on my way on finishing it.
Me too. To be honest, even with like the newly written story flip for Fate Extra, I don't like it that much.
Me neither. Fate
It
Extra.
feels too. I honestly don't know how to describe how I feel about Fate Extra. It just kind of.
I feel like with Fate Extra, there's a blueprint that is just not compatible if you're not in a game. Because in a game,
Yeah. I
mean,
you
that's
have
why they
like,
changed it so
the
much.
mini bosses.
Well,
the
I would say
checkpoints.
it's even less compatible if they tried adapting the previous game. But with this, it just feels too. It's just too different.
Yeah. I
Different.
would have liked to see like you take every character from Fate Extra and they expect the Fate Extra tournament, and then wham, it's a normal battle royale Holy Grail War. Maybe that would have been really cool.
Because as well as like, I'm not sure how much I like the fact that that Shaft took a lot of aesthetic direction from their other anime.
I mean, you have to expect that. I'm not saying you can't like it, but
it's expected, but like they pour it on you.
oh yeah, definitely.
Like to an extent where it's just like, oh wow, this is. I feel like they took what they had left over from X anime this and X anime that, and I think they put too much of their own style onto this anime that's supposed to be in the Fate franchise.
You mean you feel like this style didn't fit with the story they were telling, or
Right. Because there's an episode in Extra that is literally out of the Madoka Magica in terms of like story and aesthetic.
Okay. I mean, I'm not
Is it
against
with
that.
the Coster nursery rhyme?
Where like the castle episode,
Oh yeah.
you know, like the dream episode.
I just think
Like that is
we put so much fate at this point that I'm completely okay with something wildly different.
I'd be okay with something wildly different if it hadn't just grabbed the first thing on the table that's free and said, yes, let's do something with this. And then it feels like they didn't really plan it out, because Fate Extra is not a story that you can easily adapt. And
Yeah.
they try to fix it, but
I mean, I
really
remember
the end result was not worthy.
Also to be mentioned, they took a lot of story and themes from Fate Extella, which I thought was a little strange, because the main character in Last Encore is basically tuned from the character from Extella.
Yeah, pretty much.
I understand why, because Fate Extella gives a lot more depth into Hakuno, whereas Fate Extra, you get basically the most bland representation of a main character as possible.
Yeah, he's basically an NPC, but with a conscience. So he has no personality, no nothing.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I see.
I honestly wish they gave Hakuno a little more depth in Extra, or at least explained a little bit more about him.
How far into it did you get? Because episode 9, they are talking about what Hakuno is and his relationship with, female.
The last
Hakuno.
episode I was on was the Robin Hood episode.
Oh wow, that's a way back. They do go into it.
Yeah, but like that was like episode 6 or 7 or 8 I was on.
Yeah, I think it was 6.
It takes them just a little too long to, wet my lips.
Well, that didn't stop you from enjoying Darling and Franxx, eh?
Well, I love Darling and the Franxx from the get-go, so wasn't a hard choice.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I have to say.
Yeah.
I do love Nero. That's the best thing about Extra for me.
Yeah. Nero is a good saber.
From what
She actually has personality and charisma.
Yeah. From what I saw, I do like a lot of the visual work, like the colors and the kind of character design style, like the eyes just have straight lines through them.
Yeah, it's definitely got that. It's definitely got the Shaft flavor to it.
It still seems a little bit different at the same time, though.
I think in it was the most recent Monogatari series.
Owari.
What was it? Owari Monogatari. Yes, exactly. They go through an arc with a sort of like storybook visual.
Oh, nice.
And they had that for episode 8 again in this. No, wait, I think it was 8 or 9 in Fate Extra, and it looks really nice.
Okay,
but
that's cool.
They kept it for that, like, we're gonna tell the backstory of Nero, so it fit in really well. Looked really nice, but
yeah.
Well, like for Jared, when I was mentioning that this anime takes a little too much from other anime, there's an episode where it's basically just almost one-on-one recreation of the witches' dens from Madoka. The picture book style. Yeah. It's basically a one-on-one recreation. But yeah, Fate Extra, it's still okay. I'm gonna finish it.
Cool.
All right.
Up next, we have Garo, Vanishing Line. Take it away, Aki, since you're the only one.
Yeah, so this show is finally finished. Well, I would say finally, but I enjoyed the ride, and I wish there was more. I might even go back and watch the other Garo shows.
Yeah, definitely. I've heard good things about either all of them or most of them.
Yeah.
So
in our last episode, I talked a lot about the concepts of Garo and what it was about and how much I enjoyed the quality of the show.
Yeah,
and now it's finished.
I remember every word of it.
Yeah, now it's finished, and I just want to say that they wrapped it up really, really well.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always nice.
So it's definitely worth picking up.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll add that to my list of Garos.
Up next, we have Grancrest Senki, which it's a strange anime because when Grancrest Senki first started, my initial impression of the show was really bland. At first glance, it seemed kind of like your typical light novel, magical warfare style show.
It felt a little bit different to that for me.
Like, it felt like a bit higher quality than normal, but still your typical.
Yeah, it's still a lot similar beats.
Well, because like it threw a lot of tropes at you in the first episode, like how she had to wear that skimpy outfit, and she eventually said, "I move around well in it, so it's okay." But it turned into something really, really special. To say it's like a lighter version of Game of Thrones in anime form.
Yeah.
So much shit happens each episode. You have no fucking clue what's gonna happen next. It excels in creating a really tense atmosphere in a lot of situations because it gives you these really well developed characters surrounding the main characters, and it's very good at killing people off in a way that's very convincing and dramatic. The action scenes are very well storyboarded and framed, as well as they are very well animated.
That was very cool in the first episode.
Yeah. Well, it just gets better from there.
Nice.
I do like the concept as well.
Like it gives you a really, really good romance about halfway through.
Okay.
As well as it gives you two different romances that are really good. One that gives you like a sense of instant fulfillment, and one that you're just gunning for them. And then like the drama is crazy in this show. I don't want to spoil it too much, but one of the characters basically, like, she wants to use her power, like, no matter what. So she basically gives her body to this man in exchange for his combat help. And like that, whoever was a fan of her, I feel for you. 'Cause like it's almost like a, I don't want to say rape scene, but fuck, it was dramatic.
Oh, right.
It was strange. Yeah.
Like it gives you that really guttural feeling of queasiness and
just
just a general sense of unease.
Yeah.
That's why I like it so much. Like it doesn't just, it's more than meets the eye.
Mm-hmm.
So Grancrest Senki gets my big seal of approval.
I am really glad to hear that, because the first episode did seem like it had quite a lot of promise to it. It kind of could have gone either way, but I did have a bit more faith.
For me, Grancrest Senki was kind of a shrug.
Yeah.
It does have some cool concepts, but it's nothing that really compels me.
Okay. Up next, we have Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens.
Yeah. Did anyone of you finish this as well?
Nah.
I didn't watch past the first episode.
Man, I really enjoyed this show.
Nice.
By like the 8th episode, I binged watched the rest, and I was
nice.
very fulfilled. So I can probably run by the premise again. It's about a city where hitmen is really big, and everyone employs hitmen for everything, it seems. All the different corporations send different hitmen on each other, so people are just dying all over, so you have no idea how any business can survive if everyone just kills their competitors. But, well, it's about these hitmen just trudging away, doing a hit here, a hit there, and exploring some difficult times for mercenaries. Like what kind of shit they've had to been through to end up where they are.
Oh, okay. So it focuses on like backstories and such.
Yeah.
Of individuals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, partly at least. It's also a story about, cool battles, wow. But also
does it
the nice backstories.
Does it focus on kind of the effects of having all this kind of way of business? If that makes any sense.
In what context do you mean?
I think in terms of story, it's just like, this is how the world is for these people.
Yeah, does it kind of leave it as that, or does it actually comment on like what assassins
why
are
they
used
chose
for
this form.
and how that affects things.
Well,
or anything like that.
I don't think it
Okay.
goes that much into detail.
It's kind of just a basic setting then.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it is. Still enjoyed it though.
Cool.
Give it a big thumbs up.
Cool. I really wasn't sure where that one would go, so I am glad to hear that.
Next we have Itou Junji collection. I didn't watch too much of this, but I can say if you appreciate creepy stories,
Get scared.
or if you liked Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps as a kid, this would be a pretty fun watch. Like if you like anime too, hell, that's a big plus. I've always liked Itou Junji, his manga.
What?
And each episode gives you one or more short stories for like different Japanese horror. I don't have much to say about it. It's creepy as fuck.
One of the things I wondered when this was announced is, like, Itou Junji, the depiction is the most important part. How he, like,
Right.
draws things and all that. So that would
Yeah,
matter
you get
just
a lot
as
of
much
it.
in anime form. And I feel like...
Yeah, it translates pretty well.
Okay. Is it a bit hit or miss sometimes? Or, like, some a lot better than others?
Some of the stories aren't as creepy and scary as the others, but each one has its own almost feeling to it.
Okay. It's just because there aren't that many directors in the industry that have much experience with horror.
Yeah, and
It's
Itou
uncommon.
Junji, I don't know who directed it, but it has his heart and soul in it.
Okay, that's cool.
Honestly, I would love to see an adaptation of one of his popular manga.
I mean, there was
Even
Gyo.
Yeah,
That didn't turn
Although-
out so good, from what I hear.
Gyo is more, to me, it feels like just kind of a shock and awe campaign.
Oh, okay.
Like how kind of gross can we make this anime? Like, and contrast it to the grossness of human beings themselves.
Okay.
Whereas, like, I would love to see a good anime adaptation of my favorite, Uzumaki, which
I know
is
the name.
a story about this small village which becomes obsessed with spirals. And,
Oh, yeah.
like, yeah. And it's a great manga to read. Like, if you're looking for just kind of a creepy story-driven manga, that's a good one, Uzumaki.
I would love to read that, but I fucking suck at horror.
Like, it's not so much scary as it's
Yeah, but disconcerting,
creepy and
unsettling.
unsettling. That's all I have to say about the Itou Junji collection. It's pretty good. Up next, we have Koi Ame, or Koi wa Ameagari no Yoni. Great anime.
I see me finish
I like it. Yeah, I finished this anime. It's basically just a shoujo cute story about a girl who falls in love with her manager at work. And then the manager, it goes in depth between both of the characters, so it's not just a one-sided story. It goes into each person's hobbies and like their own story. Each one has their own story arc in the anime that kind of crisscross together with each other at various points.
Okay.
But it never focuses on the unsettling aspect of a high schooler attempting to date a 45-year-old.
That's what put
And
me
that-
off this show.
I don't think it should have.
And
You watched
that's what I
episode one,
like
right?
about it.
I only watched episode 1, yeah, and I still felt
I mean,
like
that was
this
enough
is
to-
not a setting I feel
That was enough to show
comfortable
me
with.
that
It feels
they would be very mature about that.
I mean, they can
they're mature about it in the sense that they don't. It focuses on the cute and the good part of it, instead of showing you the ugly picture of what this ultimately leads.
Maybe
to.
not ugly, but potentially questionable.
Off-putting.
Yeah. It never gets too heavy.
Yeah, I got that impression.
Yeah, it's more or less just. I think they labeled it as a seinen, but it's more leaning towards a vanilla shoujo romance flick, which is it's so very endearing at many parts, and like I have too many good screenshots from this anime. The ending made me tear up. It's ongoing, so
oh really?
It more or less it doesn't it hasn't been slated for anything, but
right,
the manga goes quite a bit further. Like I said, a lot of it is the unsettling aspect of an underage girl attempting to date a 45-year-old, and his usual reactions are just kind of like, eh.
She wasn't underage, was she? She was 18.
No, she's
not
16.
18.
She's
Okay,
like 15, 16.
Yeah, then that just adds
Although,
another layer on my cake
in Japan is 16, if I recall.
It might differ between regions. I'm not sure, but I think that's probably about right.
But she's just genuinely in love with the guy.
It's I mean, it's a crush. A very strong one. That's not a light
at the
word.
beginning. Yes, it goes through the puppy dog stage of love, but I don't want to spoil too much. But she genuinely cares for him.
Oh yeah, sure.
In a romantic sense.
I think that can still be part of a crush.
And it never focuses on the legality or the appropriateness of their style of relationship.
Yeah, I remember in the first episode it was very, the two were separate. There was no hinting of anything. It was just showing their two mindsets completely separate.
Right.
And I never really felt like it would lead anywhere.
I've read the manga.
Okay.
Man, I just don't want to spoil it. Mute yourself. If you're listening and you don't want to get spoiled, mute yourself for 10 seconds. Eventually he does fall in love with her.
Okay.
I haven't read all the way up to it, but I don't think they actually get together at the end.
Okay.
And that's the spoiler part. Other than that, it's just a really cute romance through and through. He's trying to cope with his own problems. He wants to be a writer.
Oh, cool.
And he's basically stuck in his own shell, stuck in the past. And there's more characters, his friend who is a very successful writer at this point, who's on TV and gets adaptations, is just constantly trying to get him out of his shell. And then her character arc is she injured her foot, and she's struggling with.
She doesn't have anything to take her mind off it, I'd imagine. She doesn't really have anything to focus on.
She's struggling with what she wants to do because she has a hard sense of responsibility to her teammates, but in essence, she let them down when she got hurt. So it's basically her character arc with her friend on the track team.
Okay.
And her and the manager's stories intertwine, and they basically help each other through their own problems.
Okay.
It's really wholesome.
Yeah, that's rekindled my interest in it, for sure. That sounds right up my alley.
It is a really good anime. I love it. That's all I have to say. So
I have heard a lot of people loving it.
Yeah, I'll have to show you some screenshots.
Sure.
That will definitely make you want to watch it. Up next, take it away with Kokkoku. Aki.
Right. Yeah, so this show has probably the best OP I've heard in probably maybe a year.
Nice.
I don't know. I can't even remember last time I heard a OP that was so good that even if the show had been bad, I would have probably kept watching it just to hear the OP once a week. Because, damn, it gets me going.
Yeah. I did really like it. I felt like it would grow on me as well.
Like, by the mid-season, you're like, don't stop, no turning back, flashback! Like, yeah! Oof. It's a really good show. How far into it did you get?
1.
Well, not much to grow there then, I guess, but I talked a bit about it last time, and it's finished. It really, really built up to a good point. It kept developing, like, the characters with new powers, and how the bad guy, in the end, he had his own motive for, well, all this shit that he did.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a couple of people highly complimenting it.
Oh yeah, I could give this a standing ovation.
I mean, the first episode did give me... I felt like I could go either way. Because, as I said, I think in the last episode, I think they did a really good job at not explaining useless things. But then Kyle said the next episode was very heavy on exposition. So that kind of worried me a bit, but...
Yeah, like I said last time, this show travels a lot between the action parts and the, like, planning parts, because they keep clashing with the, well, in quotation, bad guys. And from these interactions, they see, like, okay, this is what they appear to be after. What do we do? What can we do? How do we protect ourselves and stop them? And it doesn't feel like the, well, explanatory heavy parts are a drag. It feels like they are actually, like, in a pinch. They are trying to figure out how to solve it, and not just say that, well, info dumping about something that you saw previously so you would understand. It was, well, really well done. And I think the characters were really, really good as well.
That's what I was just going to say.
The grandpa was a boss.
I remember in the first episode, one of the things that really caught me was kind of the idea that their whole family is like failures. Is that continued nicely?
I mean, I would say that they are perhaps considered failures in the eyes of, like, society.
Yes, exactly.
But, and it feels like the father of the family, he does have a grudge against this. He feels like, if we had this power all along, why couldn't we have used it? We could have been rich and powerful, and we could have lived in a big house and enjoyed life. We wouldn't have to work. And he feels like something of a threat within. He is on the team of his family, and then afterwards he wants to take power because, well, he is the head of the family, so he decides, and the rest of you can shut up.
Okay.
So there is some internal struggle as well. And I don't want to talk about the ending, but it was really, really good, except for one part. It felt like they really Deus Ex Machina it. It felt like, okay, well, this is where we come to. there's no way out of this. And then they just pull, oh, hey, I'm the husband of the guy that created all of the time stop thingies. Well, you seem to be in trouble, so let me fix that for you.
Okay.
See ya.
But you didn't feel a reason for that, or?
Yeah, it felt so weird.
It's an ass pull.
Yeah, it really was. I feel like they could have had the character that is, I think it's safe to say, the last one standing, develop their powers a bit further and get themselves out of the situation they are in. Without, well, pulling a new character and saying, oh yeah, hi, I've been here all along.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear other people's perspective on that, because maybe they saw something different.
Yeah, I would have loved if someone had finished it so I could actually talk about it. But for this show, I wouldn't even want to spoil it just like that, because it's a show that's really worth seeing.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And one that I will probably carry around in my little bag of recommendations for a long time.
Yeah. I didn't hear a lot of people watching it, so any help like that is always good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Up next we have Mahotsukai no Yome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I said I wanted to talk about this, but I still have the last core to watch.
Oh. Then let's not talk about it.
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about it.
Well, I mean, if you do, sure.
Well, okay, sure, I'll try not to spoil it. This was one of the most hyped shows I guess last season, by Crunchyroll. And I'm really starting to question why they plug certain shows and others not.
Because they think it'll be popular.
Yeah, and sure, this one looked pretty, but I'm not sure if they plug the Darling of the Franxx as much. I couldn't say. Like ads on Facebook, for example. I haven't seen a single one for Darling of the Franxx, but I've seen for Mahotsukai no Yome. Like countless.
I've seen
countless.
Franxx, actually.
Oh, well, I guess I've been unlucky.
I haven't seen Mahotsukai no Yome for a while, but I do remember it being very...
Yeah, like when it came out, same with the Black Clover.
Yeah.
That was very heavily pushed, and then, well, it didn't have the best of starts, but it's starting to pick itself up, so that's nice. But, well, this show is pretty good, I gotta say. If you seem interested in the concept, sure, give it a shot, but it's really not worth the Crunchyroll hype, if you ask me.
Well, at the heart of the show, it's more or less shows kind of an otome kind of roots, where MC is almost always constantly being saved by the Daunt. It's kind of, it's a what's the word? It's a different take on that genre, where instead of being saved by a Prince Charming, good-looking guy, it's this mage who has the head of a dead horse, or I should say, he looks like a demon, but that's the catch 20 for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she falls in love with
that's
Elias because of his personality.
He's
and
a nice boy.
Yeah.
Well,
and then it just kind of follows a pattern throughout the show of Elias constantly, Prince Charming her.
Well, it'd be good to see. Actually, the manga's ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say it'd be good to see how it finishes then, but who knows how it'll finish if finished.
Right.
Yeah, so that's something that I had a problem with. That she supposedly has so much power, and she is this really like born to be a super powerful mage, and then she never really solves anything. She steps in, she stirs things up, and
she becomes fragile.
Yeah, and then Elias takes care of everything. And she keeps running off every time, and he keeps having to run after her and guess, and like it feels like, I don't know, maybe it's intentional that, people, they say one thing and then do another, like, hey, we should talk about every decision we make, and then both of them just run off without talking to the other all the time.
Yeah.
Eventually that just got too much for me.
Maybe they're trying to kind of stretch that in the manga.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but
yeah, of course.
If it does affect it in a bad way, then that's also unfortunate.
Yeah, it feels like they could have done it once or twice and then having them, alright, well, we're a team now. And then they go at it together.
Yeah.
But it keeps happening. They never develop from it.
Okay.
They never learn.
Cool. Up next we have Mitsuboshi Colors. Which I enjoyed it through and through.
Same.
It's basically just three little girls that are kind of like little shits of the town. They just, like their only purpose, like their purpose is to save the town from evil, but they basically just cause trouble for everyone else. Mm-hmm. Like not in like any serious fashion, but they're more just like a menace.
Yeah, most people kind of play with them.
Big fucking cute blob menace.
They run around.
It's very well drawn. I love
the design.
I'm yeah. The interactions between them are really fun because each one has like a stock personality, but not.
They have a very
not confined by it.
They have a kind of major trait.
Yeah, and the gags and jokes throughout the anime are actually funny. Like, usually an anime like this, I don't find funny at all. But they use a lot of clever and like more mature gags that pique my interest and give me a guffaw and chuckle every now and then. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I must say it was the most mature poop jokes I've ever heard. At least a few times every episode.
Well, like one that comes to mind is like when blue hair and yellow hair go out together. She's playing her game and yellow hair wants a game too, so she goes up to this random guy, and says, "Hey, Oni-chan, like, can I have your game?" He's like, "What? No." And he's like, "Please, I don't have a game of my own. I'll scream."
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. So it's not much to say. It's a fun anime with cute girls that do crazy things around town, and the other characters, like the air quote antagonist, which is the cop, who always like plays into his petty nature by trying to antagonize the girls. And then you have the shop owner, who always wears like a different assortment of crazy glasses each episode. Who's more or less like their moral anchor, and plot driver. And all the other characters are fun.
They were just very good, very well set up.
Yeah, like the framing and the colors as well as the background art gives you a really nice full sense of the world around them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Actually, it was also a nice kind of blend between real-ish and kind of pastely soft fun, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not really, but
And I really, really enjoyed this show that each character was like questioned at one point in the show about what kind of character they are. Like Sachan, she's like, "Am I cute? What do I do to be cute?"
Also, that's I find that funny because like Sachan always says like, he's like, "Oh, it's because I'm cute," and then you get like a deadpan expression from the leader of the group.
Yeah. And the episode where the leader is like, "Well, I'm a good straight man," and the other are like, no, we need a new member for the group. You're a bad straight man." "No, I'm a good straight man." And everyone's
Well,
like,
it's like the gags
no,
between
no.
Blue Hair when like they end up telling her that she sucks at playing games.
Oh yeah,
even
that
though
was
that's like
my
that's
favorite
her whole
moment.
shtick in the anime.
Mm-hmm. She's always
one of my
playing
favorite
games.
moments was the moment where the middle or high school girl had allergies. and so I forget how they went with it, but
they wanted
the
to cut
gamer girl
down
told
all
her
the
to-
trees in town.
well,
to
no,
save
before
her.
that, the gamer girl told her
Before.
like she knows a really good way to cure sneezes,
Mm-hmm.
and so
Oh,
she
yeah.
makes her close her eyes, and then she just punches her as
What?
hard as she can in the stomach. And then like they say it didn't work, so all three of them just start ganging up on this middle school
Holy
girl and like beating her up.
They are little assholes, and I love it.
And so like they end up devising a plan, like if they can't beat the sneezes out of this girl, they'll beat the allergies. So they decide to chop down all the trees, which obviously doesn't work out, but it's
Yeah.
still funny.
Someone says, "Oh, wait. That tree doesn't have any pollen." Oh, okay.
She's allergic to a different type of tree.
Yeah. And they keep moving on and trying to find the trees, and yeah, eventually giving up.
this sounds like a really good
Oh man.
kind of watch one at a time kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a fun anime. I love the parts where wherever they have yellow hair try and distract the cop, and she'll give like a cabaret dancer style like look at him and like pose. Anyways, Mitsuboshi Colors, good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
one of the best this season. Really wholesome.
Aki, you might like something called Ichigo Marshmallow. You should have a look at that.
Ichigo Marshmallow.
It's actually the same character designer as this, but which you'll notice straight away. But it's just
Alright.
really good childish comedy. Very well
Well,
edited.
that sounds
as well.
like
Good
Something
timing.
that's right up my alley.
Yeah, you
Just-
probably like it.
Stupid fun.
Yeah.
It's got
Exactly.
love girls.
Come on.
Hmm?
I mean, it's right up your alley.
Oh no. Okay, let's not get into this.
Anyways, up next, Aki will tell us why we shouldn't watch Overlord 2.
Alright, well, Overlord 2 is started off really strangely with this lizard arc. 4 episodes, I believe. And then it just doesn't touch upon it again. I was hoping that it would at least come back towards the end. And it does in a very, very... in such a minor way that you can't even say that... you can't even justify it. In the end, Ainz has the ice sword that the champion of the Lizardmen had. And that's not enough of a bone to throw at us for sitting through 4 episodes of something completely different.
Okay.
But I did enjoy the rest. So, if you want to watch this
Where did it start to get
Skip it.
bearable?
Hmm?
Where did it start to get good again?
I mean, episode 5, it started to come back to, what I would call the main plot. It started focusing more on, the different characters in Ainz's party, the Guardians. And, well, he, as Mon, and whatever the ninja girl was called, they had a few adventures. They started working up their reputation a bit more. And, well, you get a bit more flesh in some of the adventures in the city and Ainz's connection to them. So it feels like the world was fleshed out in a good way. There are some very big problems I have, though. And, well, I wouldn't say big problems as such. It's just, my usual hiccups with the show. And this time it was that they see him as their Lord and Savior. His word is law. They would never dare question him. But when he says that they should, try to get a good reputation with humans, they're like, oh yes, of course, whatever you say. And then they go and beat the shit out of a human that was like, well, what are you doing here? Get lost. We are raiding this cave. So first it was Shaltir. She started beating up Brain, I think his name was. I think that was in season 1, really. That she beat up Brain and then she got hunted.
By Pinky.
And then was like, well, this is a monster. We need to find her and kill her. And, well, that's a big wrench in the Ainz's wheels, because now he can't ever be seen with Shaltir again, because she's seen as, this super monster.
Oh, right.
And then basically the same thing happens with the bug girl. That, oh no, we have something to do here. You adventurers can get lost, and if you want to get in here, you can come through me. And it's just so stupid. Instead of talking to them and try to gang up and, hey, yeah, sure, we were planning on doing this as well. Let's go together, like Sebas has done. Sebas is, by the way, a great character, I think. But the rest, they just feels like they are so two-sided. They listen to Ainz and they have the highest respect for him and listen to everything he says, except for when it comes to his grand plan of trying to integrate into the humans and into their society. And then it's like, yeah, fuck that. And I just cannot fathom why they would write it like this. Because Ainz doesn't give them any, punishment for this. He's just slowly stripping away his ranks so they cannot be seen with him.
Okay.
And shit, I don't know. I hope this gets a 3rd season, and maybe it will all make sense, but for now it's...
If I recall, it's already
lost on
been
me.
greenlit.
Oh, really?
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
Well, let's hope that they don't have a Toad arc for 4 episodes. That would be a pain in the ass.
No more
It would be hard to
green
defend
things,
as well.
please.
Yeah. Well, that's it for Overlord 2, I guess.
Okay.
Overall, it works well with season 1. And if it's gonna continue, then yeah, sure, watch it.
Well, your monologue shall continue because neither me or Jared has seen Pop Team Epic.
Cool. Nice one.
Tried.
Yeah. This show is nonsensical, just as, well, I always said. And I know that you asked last time if it had some sort of coherent story that it eventually built up to.
No, it's more a more personal comedic style. Is what I asked.
Well, on that subject, I guess I could say that each skit has its own personality,
Okay.
but not episode-wise. So, yeah. It's basically the same as I said last time. But with an update that's, yeah, no story. But if that wasn't what you were asking last time, then...
No, I wouldn't have
I guess that's
expected that.
Alright, well...
Cool, dude.
Yeah.
That's all you have?
Yep, that's all I have.
Just more of the same, continuously.
Yeah. If you liked it at first, keep going. It's great. And if you didn't like it, well, bad taste.
I feel like this show is something that maybe I'll occasionally get linked YouTube clips from. Like Nichijou is pretty famous for people just linking random clips. I wonder if that'll... It definitely won't happen as much, but I kind of hope that the outstanding ones will get shared. Even if people don't watch it.
I do have one more thing, actually. And that is that they are usually pretty funny about how it's split into two parts. With a part where the female voice actors are, and they do every skit. And then one with the male voice actors, and they do the same skits again. But usually there's a twist in one of these skits.
Yeah.
Like, there was one about the voice actors, and in one of them there were female voice actors, and in the other there were male voice actors, and the way they behaved were slightly different. And in a skit that was in the first part of that episode, in the second part, they just had a guy, like, YouTube-style live reacting to it. And it was pretty weird and pretty funny.
This a real person?
Seeing this old Japanese guy, like, oh man, oh, what's that picture? Oh, that's gonna be something creepy. Oh, shit.
I assume this is a real person, since they like to do that.
Yeah, it was a real person.
I do find that quite interesting.
I really enjoyed that. Yeah. Creative.
Not for everyone, though. That kind of wild, sudden disconnect is...
I mean, if you didn't like that, there's always the first part, which doesn't have the reaction cam.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Up next, we have an anime about a guy who plays games with a little girl.
Whoa. Very descriptive.
That Aki finished.
No,
I did not.
I
dropped.
He might not even know as far as me.
I dropped this show as hard as like an anvil from an airplane.
I mean,
if not harder.
Just
what?
Just to keep them on their toes so they don't find out.
Yeah. No. In episode 4, this show is like, it's flirted a bit with this whole lolly thing and the pedophilia, kind of. Okay. And in episode 4,
it's just the kind of show it is.
Kind of.
Yeah, and
well,
I had some understanding for that, but in episode 4, I was like, there came to a point where I felt like, no,
too much.
No, you should not say to a 2 or 3-year-old that you should get married. That's probably over the line.
See, I think there's more detail to it that makes it a bit better than that, but...
If you want the context, I can tell it to you.
If you think
his disciple has... Yeah, well, his disciple has like a training camp with everyone else that is in her, age group, I guess. And of course, she's a prodigy and everyone looks up to her, so they want to learn from the same master. And so they come home to their place and they have a little shoji camp. And then this little foreign girl that is like 2 years old.
I can't remember how old she is. It wouldn't be 2.
Well, she's barely speaking. Yeah. So I would say it's 2.
I mean, I think maybe that is just that she doesn't know this language as well. But she is, very young.
She is not above 3 years old, I am sure of it.
Okay.
Alright, so anyways, she comes up to him and she says, "Can I be your disciple too, please?" And he's like, "Oh no.
What do I do?
No, I can't say that."
Can't
so he's
let her down, but also...
No, you can't be my disciple. And she starts tearing up and like, "No, it's no good. What's wrong?
And then
Why
he thinks,
am I
what
not
would a
cute
normal,
enough?"
mature adult think?
Well, And then he like panics and was like, "No, you can't be my disciple. But you can be my wife."
Right. So,
Yeah,
the thing about this character is most of the ones in the training camp are pretty serious about improving, but she wants to improve, but she also doesn't seem to entirely understand exactly what's happening. So she's kind of almost more babyish.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, I don't entirely like it either, but
it didn't have to be little girls.
Very true.
It did not.
Very true.
Like they chose that for the specific reason.
And I think most of the time it's fine, but there were a couple of points, especially, I mean, even the first episode was probably the worst one, if you remember that.
Visually, yeah.
It's just not so unnecessary. I would say this one is not as bad, but I still wish it didn't happen quite like that. If they were going to do that, there should have been a bit of a different build up. I had an idea for this a couple minutes ago, but I've forgotten. But I think they could have handled it more. I don't want to say maturely, but yeah.
I mean, they could have had it be with
more,
I don't know, this little girl and then
someone
teenagers,
with, and in the same age rank as him.
No, I mean, like they could have handled a young kid like that, like
without sexualizing her. You mean
mostly?
And I just
if they were going to go for that line, they could have done it in a non-weird way.
I mean, stuff like that's not a game breaker for me. For me, I mostly didn't continue because I didn't find the gags funny.
That's fair. I mean, the gags aren't huge for me. Sorry, go ahead.
Like if the gags were funny and I cared about the characters more, the whole lowly shit wouldn't bother me that much.
Yeah. See, I did start to get quite attached to it. Which I kind of let stuff like that slide a bit. But it's been a little while since I watched it, so I can't remember all the details. I definitely want to finish it though.
Yeah.
Especially Ginko. There's gonna be more with her soon, I'm sure. Which I'm looking forward to seeing. So I think she's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. Actually.
Up next we have Yorimo. Sora Yori mo Tooi Basho.
Fantastic
show. It is very good.
Absolutely
good
fantastic.
I don't have much to say. It's a really good adventure anime with solid characters, solid development.
Very fun, comedic.
It hits you in the laughs when it does, and it hits you in the feels when it wants to.
Yeah. So I've heard this basic, if you want a good show, you first off need good solid characters, and then you base the show off of their interactions with each other. And I just feel like this show just shows that so well, that these characters they have their own personalities and they really bounce off of each other, and the interactions with each other is different based on who they are talking to and in which context.
Yeah.
And it really makes them feel so alive.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, it's got a lot of things going for it, It's got good animation, good music,
good direction,
good writing,
a cool
good writing
premise,
and good direction. The storyboarding is good.
Yeah, dedefinitely, very much so.
The framing gives you a very good sense of where they are and what's going on. Because framing in anime can really make or break it. Whereas if this was done by someone with less skill, it would put your focus more on the characters and more on the story than it would the world they're in. Like, the focus would drop off somewhat in one aspect and go to a different one. Whereas, like, with good framing, it gives you, you know, a sense of scale for the characters, a sense of scale,
a sense of adventure,
you know, like the ship they're on.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly,
which is what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, because you get like nice close-ups when they want the character development to go through, and they give you nice wide spanning shots.
There was also
showing where they are.
You know the episode at the airport where she loses her passport. The argument in their room, the lighting in that shot, that scene, and just the construction of the
when
space.
They pan away to the city.
Yeah, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
There was also some good visual comedy, especially I remember the first episode or two. Like, I remember her in detention, there was a good one there. And when she found the money, and there's the poster behind her saying, like, you could win this much money. Yeah. I think it's very creative. It's fun.
I don't have anything bad to say about it.
I don't have anything bad at all to say about it, and that's rare.
One thing that I've heard is not my own opinion, but it's something I've heard, which is interesting. But first of all, I wanna that airport episode again. That's the last one I watched, and I really loved that episode because it's so much of it had been focused on the goal of going to Antarctica. But this kind of how do I put it? It showed that their reasons had changed. Like she was arguing, no, this has been your dream for years. You have to go, even if I can't.
Well, that aspect is important later on.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, I mean that's what so much of it has been about.
Because each character's motivation does kind of change. But like for I forget her name.
Which one?
Hair color.
The long black-haired one.
Yeah, exactly. Even in that episode, that shows
her motivation. Like, she has an episode like where she basically realizes her true intentions for coming on this trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, like for her, beforehand it was all about like proving the other people wrong. And then I'm not gonna spoil it because it's a touchful episode. But that was probably my favorite episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, Yorimo was a great anime, and I'm glad to have watched it.
Yeah, the one thing I heard negatively was that someone didn't like that it's kind of constantly dramatic, which means that the parts that are supposed to be most dramatic there's not as much contrast. And that made it harder for them to connect, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that might be more of like a personal opinion. Yeah, because I didn't have a problem with that.
I can totally understand that.
Like the hard parts hit hard, just like any other part. Yep.
Yeah, that laptop bit, it broke me a little.
Laptop bit.
Yeah, that was.
Don't know if I've seen that or not. Can't remember.
Well, that's everything.
Okay.
So
if you, yeah,
I'll get there. Definitely.
Fucking do it. Jesus.
I'm troubled.
Up next, we have Virgin Evergarden.
I beg your pardon.
Violet Evergarden.
Virgin Evergarden. But
I don't get it.
Don't worry.
Oh yeah, I won't.
It's an old
I'll ignore
meme.
it.
Someone will get it. Not as good as I thought it would be, but still a great anime overall. Like when you and I watched the first episode last year, I had super high hopes for the anime.
See, I liked it, but seeing that first episode, it felt underwhelming, and I wasn't sure if that was just because we were in such a bad place to watch it, or if it was the episode itself. But
Yeah.
I think it might have been the episode itself. A bit of both, of course, but...
Like, I don't want to sound pretentious or anything, but the actual drama of the show, which is the main focus, it never really hit me that hard.
Yeah.
What would you say is the drama?
That's what I wondered as well, actually.
Well, it's a bit hard because it's a bit different for each episode leading up towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have one episode where the drama is like the princess and the other prince of a different place were getting married, and so they corresponded with letters. And that for that episode, the drama was, her realizing her royal raiment and her basic duty to marry this guy, as well as her giving up her childhood innocence. But like the parts that are supposed to make you sad didn't hit me that hard. Like the episode where Kawasumi Ayako is like the ill mother in bed with her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like I kind of felt myself wanting to tear up, but it just didn't hit me that hard. I can't really explain it why. I think it's mostly because there wasn't enough build up to give me any sort of emotional investment.
Yeah, you need some really good character development for that. And doing that in like a single episode is incredibly difficult.
Right. Like, I'd say it did well with what it had. I'd say it's story-wise, it's okay. I found it a little perplexing how Violet went from this unfeeling machine of a person to, she's our best doll in the industry, like halfway through the anime. Yet she still, carries herself. Not all the time, but still kind of carries herself as like kind of an unknowing person.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I would disagree, actually. And I think that's because I think we see this show from completely different perspectives. I think that, you got a strong first impression at AX where you watched it for the first time, and then had
I wouldn't say a strong
certain
first impression.
Expectation.
It was expectation before we saw that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I saw this this show, and I enjoyed the changes Violet went through, and that's what I think this show is about. How she went from being a child soldier to, like, realizing what emotions are. Well, not really what emotions are, but understanding emotions in others. And I think that's what made her a good doll in the midway part there. That she understood the emotions in others, but she couldn't, put her own emotions in their place. She couldn't find a connection in between, and she didn't understand her own emotions.
Well, like the reason I say it was a disconnect for me is because in real life, to understand other people, you would think that you yourself would have to understand emotions.
I wonder, maybe it's a two-way...
It portrays her as
maybe it's a two-way thing.
Well, like, in the sense that she becomes a really great memory doll, in that she can easily put the feelings of other people on paper. But I found it just not not enough for me. Like towards the end, I enjoyed it. Like obviously the anime is fucking beautiful through and through.
It's very impressive.
I will mention that I don't know how the Blu-rays are going to be, but it had this weird, annoying filter over it.
Oh, okay.
Like visual
the
filter.
The Blu-rays probably won't be a lot different.
Yeah.
I mean...
like, comparing it to other anime this season, the encodes I watched, well, all of them, either from like Netflix or otherwise, had this weird, fuzzy filter over them.
They definitely used a lot of that.
Made the dark scenes really... Yeah, that made the dark scenes a bit hard to watch. But other than that, it's a good anime. Yeah, I teared up at the end a little bit, but...
Yeah, I think I heard very specific episodes being praised, rather than the whole series, for the most part.
Right. Yeah.
I just have one thing.
For me, I didn't get what I'm not like it's not that I didn't get what I wanted out of the series. It's more just the series
didn't satisfy you.
Live up to my own expectations.
Yeah, that's fine.
It lived up to mine, and I enjoyed it all the way through, and I enjoyed watching her progression through it all. But there was one thing that I had a problem with. I think it's the final it should be the final episode. There are some bombs strapped to a bridge.
Shit.
And she tries to tear it out. It's like stuck there with metal bolts and shit. And she tears at it. Are you saying
that was unrealistic?
No, not that. I'm getting to the point. She tries to tear it off so hard that her arm starts to break.
Okay.
And while she's trying and trying and trying, there's another bomb over there. Oh yeah, sure, I'll take care of it. He gives it a light kick, and it flies off.
No, whoa, with that. Like, that wasn't a light kick. He was flying through the air, and he put all his weight into it.
She could have done that.
I like the idea behind...
Well, she didn't have the moment. Like, he literally, like, leapt off the train, flew through the air, and, like, kicked it with all his weight.
I mean, if that really was all his weight, then he should have plummeted down as well. But
well, if you remember, like, he just caught the railing as he was falling.
Yeah,
I mean,
and with that momentum, he probably wouldn't, and he probably would not get enough force to kick that off. Was that like 3-4 bolts on each side of that bomb? That's a lot of like. You need a fuck ton of force to swipe that off the bridge. And in comparison to the force needed, it was a light kick.
Okay.
So your problem was physics.
Yeah.
God damn it.
We gotta have something to complain about.
Well, I'm... Speaking of physics, I wish they explained a little bit further how her arms work and what powers them.
Yeah, and you don't see any sign of this technology in the rest of the world.
Oh, okay.
And sure, military grade, top of the line, new stuff, but it's never explained.
Okay.
Anyways, it was a good anime.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it.
Up next, we have Yuru Camp.
Woo.
Really, really, really good anime.
Damn right.
Man, what can you even say about it?
I loved the ending.
It's just
comfy. Love the entire thing.
So, wait, whoa. Hold the brakes. You finished an anime this season,
No,
Jared?
I was lying.
How the
Or no, I was saying it preemptively. I'm sure I'll love it. I'll get there.
Oh man, that ending though. I'm sure it was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yuru Camp was just super comfy and can do no wrong.
Yeah, it was very... Fuck, I was gonna say warming. I said that last time.
Yeah. I mean, you can't... It is
Yeah.
what it is, dude.
I mean, from what
It's
I
a comfy,
saw, it
warm
was very
anime.
consistent in that feeling.
Yeah, it remains consistent.
Cool.
The only thing I wanted to see but didn't is I wanted to see Rin's grandfather make another appearance with all the characters around. The hardened camper veteran.
Alright.
But other than that, I got exactly what I wanted from this anime, which is a comfy and warm feeling inside, added to a renewed wish to go camping.
In the winter.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
In the
that
winter.
sounds like the best time of year for camping.
I'm not
for
sure
me.
I feel the same way.
Because, like, well, this anime portrays winter camping. Summer camping is not the same feeling.
It portrays winter camping in, a part of the world where there isn't a fuck ton of snow.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
I think one of the cities in
like
Japan
the region they're set in
has
gets
like the
fucking
highest
super
snowfall
cold
in the
during
world.
the winter. Yeah.
But there is quite
Well, it's not in the show, at
okay.
least.
Yeah,
What you see in the show is not what would be
it
represented.
depends where you go
here.
here, right?
Yeah.
I haven't
Oh
been
yeah,
to
I wouldn't do it
Japan,
in Sweden.
so-
Definitely not.
Would be cold. Very cold.
See, the reason I like the idea of winter camping is no insects, or at least very minimal insects.
That's a very good reason to camp in the winter.
Pretty much. I wish I had a ton of stuff to say about Yuru Camp, but it's just a comfy slice of life.
The art also does a very good job of setting that tone.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just a well put together, comfy, scenic anime about camping girls in the winter.
Good fun characters and the most feel-good show I've seen since Non-Non-Yori.
Nice. That's cool. I know how much you love Non-Non-Yori.
I do.
Does the camping
buddy.
narrator ever come back?
Oh
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that
Yeah.
it would have, but
Ah, fuck, what's the meme? Fuck, what's the meme?
Comfy camping noises.
what?
No.
Make a
The-
show
the
about
secret-
cute girls.
the secret
Make
society.
them go camping. The show ends.
No.
Oh yeah, the secret blanket
the
fort
secret
society.
Buranketo.
Alright.
Secret society Buranketo.
Yeah, alright. This show
That's pretty
spawned
funny.
so many great memes, and I love every single one I've seen. Like
Indeed.
the caterpillar, the very very hungry Nadeshiko.
Yeah.
Well, for our last two, I haven't watched Be the Beginning, and I sadly need to finish Devilman
Yeah.
Crybaby.
I saw one or 2,
Mhm.
I think.
I've seen one.
I know some other people on the podcast
Yeah,
finished it and want to talk about it, so we'll need to remember that.
We have
I-
other
we
people on this
did.
podcast.
And if we actually do something that they've seen, then they're probably pretty up for it, if you can schedule.
No, so if they want
Hopefully.
to.
Well,
So you mean pulling them along and
we can
talking about
we can
these
set
two?
up we can set up a fuck off episode and have one of the themes Devilman Crybaby.
Could do. Could probably do a whole,
I mean,
Decision, make it right now.
maybe do an episode on it, but we'll see how it goes.
All right. 5 sentences about Devilman Crybaby from Aki.
Oh,
and then we'll
no.
carry it over.
Okay, 4.
5 sentences.
4
You
then.
get 5 sentences.
If 5's hard, then 4.
5 sentences or 1 paragraph.
Yo, you can make a paragraph as big as you want.
You're putting high expectations on me here.
1.
Well,
One sentence.
It was a good anime. I liked the fight scenes.
Before I start talking about them individually, I split them off in this list because both of them are produced by Netflix, and I really feel like the quality of these shows were absolutely great.
If only more of the world could see them.
Yeah.
I don't know who worked on Be the Beginning, actually. Need to have a look at that.
Yeah, it was Netflix.
No, I mean, who actually worked on it? Netflix just gave them a little bit of money.
Oh, who worked on it? Yeah, well, enough money to make it look stellar.
Well, I mean, there were a lot of other people involved.
Devilman Crybaby.
Giving money.
Alright, well, Devilman Crybaby. It's about demons are basically parasites, and they are part of basically every big human organization, like governments, military, corporations, and they pull the strings to feed humans to more devils. And then a devil man rises, a man with this demon parasite, but that can control it. And it's about him trying to rally others to control the demons within. Cool. And yeah,
it's just like good concept.
Yeah, it was a very cool concept. But even better concept, in my opinion, was Be the Beginning.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about like the concept of him just eating everything.
Nah,
that was a good concept.
I had five sentences. It was short and sweet. But now for Be the Beginning,
4 sentences.
Before I get any restrictions.
Wait, no, B rhymes with 3.
3
sentences.
Yeah.
You were allowed 1 semicolon.
No. Well, Be the Beginning, it was basically, if anyone saw it, Subitaka F Ninaru. It's basically a mystery.
Oh shit, yeah.
But Subitaka F Ninaru was very obscure.
Oh, it was quite.
While Be the Beginning, it felt like it had a big focus on the mystery and had 2 sides. It had this human that could basically shape shift certain part of his body into metal like swords, and there were people after him, and he just tried to kill bad guys. And then there were about the police force that was wondering, well, who is this person that is killing off bad guys, and why is he leaving his mark all over the place? What does it mean? And they basically stumble upon something bigger, and it was fucking good. Damn, it was good.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to not forget about that, because that does sound like it could be good.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Nappa told me to watch it. Otherwise, I would have completely missed it.
Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty common thing to happen.
Yeah, especially with these Netflix shows that are released batch-wise when they come out on...
Yeah, the thing is, though, like, Netflix never really advertises them. Like, you'll see them advertised on the like, JP Netflix, like Twitter.
I honestly want to talk in depth about Amazon and Netflix's practices and Western anime releases.
Yeah, we should do that. Do a little bit of research first as well, just get...
yeah.
Get all the facts.
Let's say that, but TLDR, we're gonna shit on Netflix and Amazon soon. Hopefully.
Oh no.
Don't worry, there'll be not a silver lining, but a couple of small good things, perhaps.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, do you guys have an anime of this season? The cream of the crop?
Sure.
What was it?
You go first, Kyle.
Oh, me? The best anime this season, it's a hard... Well...
You can do, like, top 2 or whatever.
I'd say overall enjoyment, I think I got the most out of Yuru Camp and Koyame.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Leaning towards Yuru Camp.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. And Jared?
See, I was gonna half joke Ryuuou no Oshigoto, but I left it too long. I didn't want to interrupt Kyle, so I just gave him the mic.
Well, whatever you say, Jared, you'll have to say, this anime is probably the best.
My favorite.
I predict that the ending will make this the best.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, it was A Place Further Than the Universe.
Nice.
Sora, Yori, Mo, Tooi,
Totally
Basho.
saw that one coming.
It
I
was
wonder next season, next final review for next season, or this currently airing season. Jared will base all of his thoughts and recommendations off the key visuals.
Maybe 1 or 2 PVs. We'll see. That's a lot of time to invest.
Well, that's pretty much it for this episode. Thanks for coming by.
Do you want to do our plugs?
I'll plug everything. We have a Patreon linked below in the description.
Actually,
that helps Jared out a lot.
That covers server costs and domain name costs, so that we can have not only our podcast on iTunes, but also
yes, because Jared has decided to whore ourselves out to many other podcasts.
I'm being nice. So currently we have Anime Abroad, we have Anipod, so Glenn, Matt, and Callum, and then we also have the Trans Culture Club, which is a fairly new podcast. About a month ago, I think it started. But that's got Brooke and Corey from Anime Abroad on it, so they'll be a lot more active now, since they have more things to discuss rather than just anime. But yeah, so Patreon helps cover those fees. Currently, I am being given enough to cover it, but soon I'm gonna have to upgrade the storage space, especially since we have more podcasts.
So if you enjoy our content and you want to see more, please consider just giving $1 to Jared.
Honestly, anything.
Like, we only charge per episode, and that's at the most once every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
We are looking for sponsors. So if anyone from Crunchyroll or
Coca-Cola,
J-List or LaCroix.
Yeah.
No, we don't want Coca-Cola. LaCroix all the way. I've already sent a partnership request for them.
Okay.
Just waiting on that fateful reply. But other than Patreon, you'll find the links to each of our Twitters. I think we link both Discords.
Both Discords should be either in the description or the end screen, or both.
Like, we have one for Anime Abroad, but it's dead.
It's fairly dead. We could maybe revitalize eventually.
And then we have one for the Weeaboo server, which is less dead.
Yes. Less dead.
I guess if people wanted to jump in and talk about the podcast in particular, the Anime Abroad, the Discord would be the place.
That would be good. Either, honestly.
And, if you put more than $1 for the Patreon, I'll call your name out personally. We'll end up going through a list of people who help us out,
and I will make up a random fact about you.
Yeah. And if anybody has any recommendations for question of the week as well, any of those would be greatly appreciated.
Or better yet, send us questions if you'd like to see a Q&A episode,
or any topics as well. Literally anything. You may have realized that we're at least a week late with this episode.
But it's nice. Like, yeah, we're not thirsty, but any suggestions are greatly appreciated.
Yeah. I've actually quite enjoyed this episode. I forgot that this was fun. So so if we have topics, I'll gladly do more.
Our next episode coming up will be first impressions for spring 2018.
Yep. That'll be all my spring
hopefully,
episodes.
Now that we've done winter AOTS, now Aki can
Start
finally
the next season.
grow some fucking balls and watch anime again.
Wait. Excuse me.
I mean, I'm not
I'm not gonna watch
again.
anime till we do this episode.
Yeah, because I'm busy watching through a fuck ton of shows from last
Why didn't you
season.
just do what I did then?
I'm 3 or 4 episodes into like 5 different shows that I know I'm not gonna finish.
Then be very
Noob.
careful about which ones you choose.
Yeah,
I need to do that as well. I just need to
Please.
decide very specifically what I'm gonna watch and kind of force
You
myself
just need to force yourself
to
watch.
also drop things that I'm not liking as much. That should make it easier.
Should we start group watch again?
We could try, but
do we have the time?
It's really hard. But we can talk about that afterwards.
Yeah,
So last
me
plug.
too.
We need to schedule it
last
well.
plug. animeabroad.com for all our audio-only episodes. Any links as well should be on there. We're on iTunes, so are all the other podcasts I mentioned. If you haven't seen them, go listen, because if we only listen or upload once every 3 weeks, then there's at least 2 other weeks that you can go check out them. So yeah.
We didn't mention Atlas this episode. He's being a busy.
Yeah,
busy
he's
person
drowning
right
in
now.
oil, and maybe an earthquake.
Fucking fracking.
Yeah, he caused an earthquake.
He's literally fucking the earth with a giant metal dildo.
He is literally destroying our beautiful
Yes.
Earth.
But he's making money doing it.
Yeah. He just has 0 time to spend that money.
Yeah.
I'll mention it more and more down the road, but Aki, Jared, myself,
Uh-huh.
as well as Patrick and Cassie, all members of Anime Abroad, are going to
Oh,
be
yeah,
together
I forgot
this
about that.
July. Yeah. I'm gonna bring my really nice portable recorder, and we're gonna have a IRL episode.
Boy, I can't wait
shit.
to edit that one.
Yeah. Well, it'll be easier just to denoise the
Maybe.
fuck out of the hotel room.
But yeah, all of us are going to AX as well. That is why.
And so
And
we'll find
Jared,
time to record an episode
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, and Jared needs to drink a fuck ton
Oh, no.
of Jack Daniels again.
No,
Steal
I'm
my
not doing it.
goddamn
I'm not
liquor
doing it.
again.
It's not even good. It's just when I get too drunk, I
Well, it's
I
Jack
drink
Daniels.
spirits like water. It's a problem.
Yeah, and then you fucking
Scotsman.
puke like water
See,
all
the thing
night.
is, I don't particularly like whiskey, but when I get to a certain point,
You fucking could have
Oh, yeah.
fooled me. You fucking destroyed my bottle.
it wasn't just me. I don't know how much I had because I was really hungry. I barely ate that week.
If I recall correctly, Cassie said you destroyed my
I
bottle.
think she's just lying. Cassie's not alcoholic. She's covering up. I'm a scapegoat.
I only got to drink once out of that bottle.
Apologies. It was a very nice bottle. I
we've
wish I could have taken it home.
Gone way off topic now.
Yeah, our topic
but,
being
yeah.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Catch you guys later. This has been Anime Abroad Podcast.
Except for the
Don't
podcast.
stop the
Goodbye.
turning by flashback.
Flashback. No, I gotta cut this out.
Flashback.